The thing is, I've had my suspicions for a while. I did some videos that went pretty viral about people like Tim Pool a month ago, when out of thin air, he's just going on these completely out of character tirades, calling Candace all these names that he would never say to her or her husband in person, but he's literally going on a diatribe on his show. But not just him. There was also Brandon Tatum, who magically has kind of fell back now from the fray of things. I guess these are the kind of people that you have to continue to pay for them to do your dirty work. See, when something is genuine, people will continue to talk about it for free. It's not the money that has to pay them to do the work. They do it because they're passionate about it, because it means something to them. Personally, I wouldn't take $1. Do you know how desperate for money you must be, where you will literally sell out and sell your soul just to get paid so that you can sit online and talk bad about somebody, knowing that you're going to regret it later? I thought we got into these spaces and we made videos and we produced content so that we wouldn't be forced to go with mainstream narratives to perpetuate lies that we literally can see right through. But we were watching the likes of people on CNN and Fox that would just look at us directly and tell us that the water on our face is rain when we can see a man pissing on us. But it seems like now we're exchanging cable news for us internet independent journalists. Now they're being bought off the same way people are being bought off in cable news, and it's a shame. But we have our champions, and you have to have discernment. It's up to you as an adult to pick and choose what you are going to believe, what you're going to listen to, what you're going to look into. I've been lucky. My audience is expanding. People fact check me and they listen to what I'm saying, and we have dialogue and discussion. I'm not talking down to you. We're having a conversation back and forth. We're learning together. We can tell the difference. See, we trust Candace Owens. We don't trust Ben Shapiro. We trust Candace Owens. When it comes to this, we can't trust Tim Pool or anyone from TPUSA. We can't even trust Charlie's wife because we trust Candace Owens. It's now that we live in the future, we are in the age of the internet, and people are more disconnected than ever. We all know what real friends are versus those who only need us or love us when they want something from us. Candace is not continuing to keep Charlie's memory alive and to investigate what really happened to him because she needs the money. Her husband's extremely well off. She can talk about anything else. She does this because she loved him, because she was his friend. He meant a lot to everybody because he stood up against the people that we shy away from confronting. We don't want to talk to the gays and the trans. We don't want to tell black people about themselves. It's unpopular speech. Even though it would gradually help society get better as a whole if we can talk to the people who have these delusions of this mass formation psychosis and bring them to reality. If we can convince men that they can never be a woman, no matter how many surgeries or how much stuff they chop off of their body, then we've made a difference. If we can convince black people that there's no imaginary white man that's following you around with a fork and he's just poking you in the back and tormenting you 24 hours a day. If we can break them out of that psychosis, they'll be able to perform and enjoy their life here in the United States instead of taking it for granted and crying and complaining 24/7, yet refusing to leave. There are things that are productive where you can bring people to the side of sanity if you talk to them long enough. But who has that kind of time? Charlie Kirk made that kind of time. So we admired him. See, he cared more about the trans and the gays and the blacks than the rest of us do. We're too busy taking care of ourselves and our own families. dealing with the mentally ill was something that was typically reserved for hospitals and psychiatrists. But now it's been delegated to the public, and Charlie Kirk did his best, his damnedest. And I've seen people convert because of Kirk, people who were like, oh, he's a racist, until they went and listened to him speak. The same way it happened with me. I would say these things about Trump until I literally listened to the man speak. It took years. For years, I let the likes of Don Lemon and Anderson Cooper, homosexuals who like kids, let them dictate to me what I should feel about my country, about what the outside world, and about my own president. I don't do that anymore. So that's why these conversations matter. And that's exactly why they have to smear people like Candace, who could resonate with people similar to the way Charlie could. I can only aspire to be like that one day. So far, so good. I resonate with the people that talk to me when I go to different places. I do these conversations in person. I'm not just an online personality, but I can only hope to have that type of influence in the future. But let me give you an example. This was she put this out. This is a preview of her new series that just dropped. But we're going to go over how there are people that have literally been paid to just parrot one another and smear her. But let's take a look. This is why they don't want you to pay attention to her, because you're going to discover everything that they're doing behind our backs.
President Trump says that Kirk has died after he was shot from a nearby building after being shot at Utah Valley University. The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead.
The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry.
I didn't even get to give him a kiss goodbye.
That young man, I forgive him.
Take your time.
Erica Kirk has been named the new CEO of Turning Point USA.
My husband's dead. Like, I'm not trying to be morbid, but he's dead.
It's weird to say excited.
Describes her husband's funeral as the event of the century. Merch, hats.
We have 50,000 plus hat orders.
Nobody knows why she's out there in a glittering pantsuit in a recreated tent that her husband tragically was murdered in, throwing merch out.
Everyone grieves differently, so if someone's acting weird, don't read into that.
So we do know why she's acting like this. It's because Charlie, she's been assigned to other men in other countries before. She is a handler. She's a honeypot. She's good at using her looks to get in close with men. She's an amazing actress. She's a good wife, meaning she can use her beauty to convince a rather sane and smart man who she could care less about. She's really good at convincing him that she is head over heels in love with him. That's her job. She's a honeypot. She's an agent. He was her assignment. That's why she doesn't care about the kids anymore, because she's been reassigned. She's a soldier. She did what she had to do. She played her role. Her next role that she was supposed to walk into was the Erica Kirk -Vance role. And that is now in jeopardy. I don't think that agenda is ever going to happen. See, she wasn't meant to talk to crowds or to deal with the public. She's only meant to be in one-on-one settings with men. That's why all the men seem to buy her bullshit, and to a lot of us men, we kind of fall for it. But the women around the world are saying this is fake. She is fake. None of this is making any sense. If you watch my previous videos, I show you when her and Charlie first announced that they were engaged, and she was pretending that she couldn't even look at him because, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, most women, even when they're engaged to us, they can't stand us. They hate the way we chew our food. They hate the way we smell. They hate our faces, because women, they have hormones. They go up and down. No one's just completely smitten over the man they're already sleeping with. That's reserved for celebrities or people they see on television that they don't have access to, not the person they're already with. She's an actress. I study people, study women. And usually she's behaving right now like a woman who didn't necessarily care about her husband. because it wasn't her job to actually love him. It was her job to monitor him. It's no coincidence that as soon as he got out of line with the Zionists, they took him down because he was too powerful. The way his influence could sway the evangelical vote would have been completely disadvantageous to Israel or to the Zionists. And they put way too much money into Turning Point to just watch their investment go belly up. We understand who has the motive. We don't have to say who did what and why. We already know. We all already know who was behind it. And we know because they have a history of being behind assassinations. They do them around the world. They actually have a movie about it called, what was the name of that movie? With the guy that played the Hulk at one time. It's actually, it's named after Munich. Look up Munich, the movie Munich, about the Olympics in Munich and how they went around the world assassinating people. No trial, no jury, no evidence. They just carte blanche and go to any country and wipe out anyone they want and get away with it. So let's not pretend that they don't have a history of doing this. They don't want you to listen to Candace because they can't stop her. She doesn't go out in public enough for them to harm her. And she can afford security and to defend herself. She is an American. She's not in another country where she can't have armed security or be armed herself. And anyone that's going to come after her, they're going to have to be prepared to meet their maker also. It's 50-50. You can't just go knock on her door, and that's not going to be that easy. So they want to discredit her. They don't want you to listen to her because she's making some extremely good points. We still have to get to the bottom of what happened to Charlie. There are theories that Charlie was playing a role. He's in witness protection. I've seen the videos. The synthetic bulge in his neck that was weird on that day. Yeah. And was I there in the crowd? No. But they did put a blanket censor over everyone in the audience. Why would you need to do that? See, my personal theory is that the people who were there in person that day, when the shot went off, they seen Charlie fall back like he was electrocuted. But all the spraying out of his neck, it seems like a lot of that was enhanced with AI. I don't even know if the people in the crowd saw all the blood. I don't think they saw that shooting out of his neck. What if what they saw in person is different than what we saw on video? But because we're not allowed to talk to these people, we would not know. That's why they put a gag order. We have to talk about these things and think about them. I do a variety of different topics. I try not to focus only on this, but this is a primary focus of mine. So a lot of my followers that are here are because they've seen me on other people's channels talking about this. So please like and subscribe to the channel, like the video. I appreciate you guys for being here, but this is important. Let's get back to the video.
Zionists, the Prime Minister of Israel, all lied through their teeth about Charlie Kirk.
Her operation was in Constanta, the epicenter of Romania's trafficking scandal.
We heard conversations to have with a 15-year-old. I'm going to touch your butt. $8.6 million to their own shell company.
Yeah, the stuff with Erica Kirk grooming that little girl was completely weird, out of line. Adults don't talk to children, especially in the day and age where you can't even be too friendly. Everyone saw what happened to Michael Jackson. Nobody talks to kids, not even women, flirt or leave messages. Everyone knows if you find out one of your followers is underage, you block them. You don't speak to them. You don't have DMs with them. You don't talk to them. Erica Kirk setting up a photo shoot for a girl that's underage. It doesn't make any sense. Why was she doing that? And why did her ex-boyfriend have a tattoo of a pizza inside of his lip? You know, people don't understand. There's a whole nother society within our society that kids are the focus. The way us adult men, we like women, we want to be with women, we want to date women, we would die to protect women because we want to have access to women. There's another society within our society that feels the exact same way, if not stronger, about access to children. They would die to have access for children. They'll kill for it. They'll become judges and police officers. They'll run for office. They'll do anything they can to push an agenda where it's no longer criminalized for them to sexually go after kids. It's actually accepted as an orientation that has protections. There's a whole society, and we're learning about it when we read these Epstein files. Are they talking about eating children? It sounds more like they're probably eating the placenta or they're eating parts. But for all we know, there is another society of people that can eat human tissue and blood, and they won't get Kuru, and they don't get prion disease, and they can consume human flesh. And we're just peeking into it. You know, in the old days, they said that all the royal families around the world were seeded by reptilians because there were certain humans that could interact with them. And then there were just the regular humans, the villagers, that could not. So, and the people that could interact with them, there was something different about them where they would consume the flesh of humans, children. Remember, remember the movie The Beauty and the Beast? There's like 1,000 stories like that, where there's a beast or there's a vampire or there's a monster that lives in a castle. So that means they already have a lot of money. They live in a castle, and all the poor villagers, their kids keep coming up missing. And everyone's like, they are taking the kids to the castle and they're snatching them up at night. And look at us, thousands of years later, and it's the same thing still happening. Children are disappearing into these castles, and we're still trying to figure it out. You know, people keep thinking there's only one type of human. There's literally 2,700 different variation of termites, but there's only one type of human. There's several hundred different breeds of dogs, but we only believe there's one type of human only, and we're all the same. We're wrong. I think with Candace bringing this up, we're getting closer and closer to that part of the conversation coming up. Those are the parts of the Epstein files. Because remember, we're only able to see 2% of the files so far. Even those millions of pages, 3 minutes, that's only 2%. The rest of them are going to talk about what Epstein was doing and the different types of people that there are. And we're not all the same. From what I was able to get from it, it seems like Epstein was able to use those scientists that were working on the Manhattan Project. They used high energy physics and mathematics, and they were able to create looking glass technology that could see the future. They were trying to discover technology that could see the stock market ahead of time, ended up finding something else, and that made him the envy of the world. And these people who know this secret is so well protected, they'd rather you think that they're just pedophiles than find out that this is the true secret behind their wealth and success all these years. Think about it. How is it that Israel has been able to survive surrounded by their enemies all these years? It seems like they never make one wrong move. And then you find out that Epstein was working for Mossad in the United States. And who are the two countries that when they look up Google searches that keep finding out things and looking up certain people before events even happen? Israel and the United States. It seems like they're the ones that have access to this technology. Now, the thing is, I don't know if they were able to cure this technology without Epstein being present. Do they need him to use the technology? Or because if that was the case, then he didn't die in jail because he's worth more alive, and they pulled him out. But if it was something that they could just take from him and dispose of him, then yeah, they would have let him die in jail. My only thing was they could have used 2 small female guards and pretended they fell asleep if they were going to swap him out. You wouldn't need 2 big, strong black dudes that could literally go into the cell and choke him to death. You wouldn't need those guys as the guards if you were going to just swap him out. So that's the only reason why I think he could possibly be dead, was because the guys who would have went in there and did that, these 2 security guards were built for that. They didn't need to get guys that big. They could have used some of the weaker guards. Then it wouldn't have made sense. So that's where I have my apprehensions. A lot of information is coming out. They don't want Candace to keep asking questions, because the more questions you're asking about Erica Kirk and Charlie Kirk, the more things that are going to keep being connected to what they're finding in the Epstein files. There's one group that's connected to both, and that's the Zionists. The Zionists are connected to what happened to Kirk. The Zionists are behind the whole world of Epstein. They need Candace to stop talking because Candace is what makes the rest of us start talking. They have to shut us up. But all the smear camp, it's not going to work. A lot of us have they know, there's a saying that good people, it's hard to replace good friends. We've all lost good people in our lives. And most of us wish we had a friend like Candace, and we don't. So when we see someone that's like Candace, we appreciate her, and we can see when these people are full of it. So that's why they want to shut her up, but it's just not going to work.
What is going on? We have nothing to hide. My aunt used to tell me never do something that you don't want on the front page of a newspaper.
Now, I'm going to be doing a breakdown of her first episode. I haven't watched it yet, but I wanted to go over what the Hodge twins had posted. So I swear to God. Now, there's a guy that I follow, and I share a lot of his content on Instagram. His name is the Right Wing Angel. One day, out of the thin blue sky. See, when someone doesn't like you, it's a gradual buildup. They make little comments. They question you. They make little. They don't just come out and blatantly just call you names and attack you. All of a sudden, Right Wing Angel, I've never seen him post anything negative about Candace Owens. One day, he's calling her a demon. A woman who's a mother with her kids who are intact, who's literally just on the internet speaking to people, giving her opinion. She's not writing policy. She's not in government, just her opinion. And he called her out of her name. And I was like, wait a minute, Mr. Right Wing Angel, what are you doing? Then look, Graham, I'm convinced Candace Owens is a demon. Politics 1776, another right-wing commentator. Candace is a demon. Jordan S90, don't really know who he is. I'm not sure if Candace Owens is merely a demon. I think the devil gave her. Where are all these weird, superstitious people? Why are they all using the same nomenclature all of a sudden? A demon? You know, the reason I think they're using this language is because they're trying to inspire someone to try to do something to Candace. Because if they're successful, then they'll feel like they're righteous or they did good. That's why they're demonizing her. Again, they're not going to be able to get to her, but they're trying. Cat Turd, even though the name is extremely weird in my opinion, but it's a good brand, I guess. I never thought I would see them being able to get paid. And then I keep forgetting this is America. Everything and everyone is for sale. People have bills. And the Trump campaign is over. He's already the president. So a lot of these people, they built their empire, they built their careers off of the money pre the election. We're not in an election season right now, so people are making less money. If this is what they have to do to stay afloat with these checks, then maybe they should do something else. Let's play the video one more time.
After he was shot from a nearby building. Valley University. The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead.
The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry.
I didn't even get to give him a kiss goodbye.
I forgive him.
Take your time.
Erica Kirk has been named the new CEO of Turning Point USA.
My husband's dead. Like, I'm not trying to be morbid, but he's dead. It's weird to say excited.
Describes her husband's funeral as the event of the century. Merch, hats.
We have 50,000 plus hat orders.
Nobody knows why she's out there in a glittering pantsuit in a recreated tent that her husband tragically was murdered in, throwing merch out.
Everyone reads differently, so if someone's acting weird, don't read into that.
Zionists, the prime minister of Israel.
So people who we already know are evil demons, they're calling her the demon now. Han Shawnedy, Gunther Eagle, Natalie Jean. They're all repeating the same exact words about Candace. Newsflash, it's not going to work. all this does is just strengthen our resolve. But now we know that there are certain people that we have to remember, even though we do like them at times and they do some good work, like Tim Pool. He's good at certain things, but you also have to remember they're corrupt. They're corruptible. For a certain amount of money, they'll stab you in the back no matter who you are. The money is more important than everything because this is all they have. See, I have my own separate business. I work. I do these videos for fun. I do these videos because I like talking to people. This isn't my line of work. I have a couple of sponsors. I do ad reads for people. And, but it's not like this is my primary source of income. So when I'm talking just based off of my opinion, what I'm observing. I'm not being swayed one way or the other because someone's giving me a check for 7,000 or 10,000 or however much money. That doesn't matter to me. I actually care about the future of the country I'm going to live in. I've lived outside the United States. I've lived in 6, 7 other different countries. I understand how important it is that we keep our republic. I didn't always feel this way, but after what I saw during the lockdowns, I've learned a lot and I'm more appreciative of what we have here. I know that words can shape elections. I'm trying to keep people like Trump so that we can stay the course that we're on now. I remember being under the Democrats. I remember Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. I remember the vax mandates. All my friends back in California have cancer or they're dying of heart attacks every single day and no one's saying anything about it but me. I'm not in a hurry to go back to the depopulation agenda of the Democrats killing off Americans because they hate us and because the Democrats work for the World Economic Forum, the globalists. And unfortunately, being on the right, we're kind of intertwined with the Zionists. A lot of people don't realize this. There's a war between globalists and Zionists right now, and we're smack in the middle. And unfortunately, if I have to choose to be on the right, then it's like I'm aligned with fucking Ben Shapiro, who's also my enemy. So it's a weird place to be in right now. But never forget that there are certain people who will sell their souls and they have a price tag. I'm not sure how much they were paid, but for you to use the exact same words, that's a script that someone gave you. They didn't just all have the exact same thought at the same time. FYI, I have never taken any money. I wouldn't accept any money. I don't, that's not me. I'm sitting here talking because I want to have a wife and kids and live in this country. And I want to make sure that it at least remotely resembles the one that I was fortunate enough to grow up in. Candace, stay the course. You're doing great. I believe in you. I appreciate you. You've opened a lot of people's eyes. That's why you're so successful. Keep up the good work. These other people are just in your shadow. They're in your wake. But you know what? You know you're doing something right because people hate you. So you have to keep that in mind. Do me a favor, like and subscribe, share the video. For all you guys who also support Candace Owens, please give me a subscribe. I'll keep you up to date with everything that I notice or anything that I pick up on. We're going to go over some more Epstein stuff later on today. I want to go over to my theory of the looking glass technology. I explain why I think this and the different things I picked up in the Steve Bannon video. So please come back. I'll be back on live in about 2 hours. I'll see you guys again shortly. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go through some of the comments as well. Let's see your receipts. I don't have any receipts. 100% disagree. Charlie isn't dead. I said that. I'll be honest with you. There's more evidence that Charlie's alive than there is that he's dead. Everything was too weird. There was no blood. And his entire team, they behaved so strange. They did everything wrong when he was shot. And the way his body jerked and why did the front of his shirt pop up? What was under the front of his shirt that jumped up? None of this makes any sense. There was something under his shirt, and because nobody wants to talk about that, as far as I'm concerned, he's still alive until we can address that. No one can because everyone keeps dodging it. The only two people that have talked about it is Mr. Let Go, Valhalla, Jesse on Fire. We're not the main people on that have the ear of everyone. So, but the more mainstream people, why aren't they talking about his shirt having something pop up from underneath it in the front of him? And it seems like his body was shocked. So obviously there was a device attached to him. They pretended that it was a mic, but it was something else. And yeah, it seems like they electrocuted him to get that response. And then it seemed like that was probably AI, whatever we seen shooting out. Maybe there was something shooting out as like a prop, but they made the AI enhance it for people that are viewing it. Remember, 99% of us watched it on video. We weren't there in person, and in person, you didn't even see the blood splatter that we were expecting. Why is that? As much blood as I seen shoot out on that video, the whole backdrop should have been covered in red. That white backdrop should have been covered in red. Everyone's hands should have been soaked. The ground, the concrete leading to the car should have been soaked in blood. But it wasn't. So it seems like there were enhancements put on the video that was shown to the world. If this was a real situation, if he really was shot and he really died, then why do you need enhancements? These are the questions that make people uncomfortable, and this is why they don't want to talk to us. Thank you for, oh yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, drummer. For not counting violence, yeah. This is not on live, it's pre-recorded. This is a YouTube vibe. What are you fake reading non-existent comments in the chat? Unfortunately, you don't understand. I'm actually on 8 different platforms right now. So I'm on StreamYard. You might only be able to see my comments on YouTube. You don't see Twitch. You don't see Kick. You don't see what other? You don't see X. You don't see any of my other platforms. You don't see Facebook. But if you feel that way, you can get the hell out of here. You don't have to be here. I didn't cold call you. There's no guy in India that I paid to get on the phone like, hello, my friend, do you mind tuning into a Rico Limbaugh today? And then you're like, oh, fine. Yeah, no one's forcing you to be here. There's 10,000 other people you can go watch. Don't have to be here. I appreciate those who actually understand what I'm saying and they agree. So I do appreciate you guys for being here and tuning in. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the new subscribers. Thank you guys for following. I promise to make content for you, and hopefully you're impressed and you enjoy the fact that I make a lot of content. I do these videos pretty much every single day. I took a few days off because I was sick last week, but now I'm back. So I'm here. I want to make sure that we give Candace as much exposure and support as possible. She's already the biggest person in the world, but it needs to be reinforced that there are people that are listening to what she says and it makes sense to us and we're actually in her corner. So we'll fight these smaller battles for her. So that's why I'm here. I appreciate the calls. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. And I'll be back in about 30 minutes with another live. Remember, it's America first and America only.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.